Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sales Funnel Radio.
Welcome to Sales Funnel Radio, where you'll learn marketing strategies to grow your online business using today's best internet sales funnels. And now, here's your host, Steve Larsen.
All right, you guys, I should probably, I don't know, I feel like I say good morning in every single thing that I make just because it is morning. Man, we had a crazy night last night. My little ones they screamed the whole night. Oh, it was super hard. I actually slept into 6, which I know is funny to say that, but I usually get up a lot earlier than that, and I'm usually at the office a lot earlier than I am right now, but it's still morning, so good morning. Oh, man. So last night we were watching a little bit about, I love Shark Tank. I don't know if you guys have probably seen the show Shark Tank, and I don't know if my wife likes watching that show with me because we'll be sitting watching something, she'll be like, oh, that's great. I think if I had the money, I think I would invest in these guys. And I'm always, I'm like, no, they're missing X, Y, and Z. And the guys in Shark Tank would be like, no, you're missing X, Y, and Z. And my wife would be like, what? Why? And so we have to pause it and I'll explain to her like, well, kind of. Anyway, so I wanted to really quickly share a little bit, the only 2 metrics that really matter to a venture capitalist, because Mark Cuban was in there obviously, and it was these 2 guys selling ties. It was called Tie Try or something like that. And Tie Try guys, if you listen to this, I'm very sorry, but I'm about to slam you. But it's okay. It's out of love. After 2 months, these guys were in there asking for venture capital money. And just right off the bat, I'll just tell you, unless you've made millions of dollars, profit, that is way too early to ever ask for venture capitalist money. And second, you don't really need venture capitalist money most of the time. That's my humble opinion. I've been offered, do not take investment money from anybody. There's no reason to. You just bootstrap it. And you learn more that way, and your business is better than the competitor after all. Anyways, so there's 2 metrics, right? And Mark Cuban was sitting there, and he goes, guys, okay, you've been going for 2 months. You're selling these ties, right? He was basically like ties with a Netflix model. You could ship ties back and forth whenever you want it. And Mark Cuban was like, all right, what's your average cost to acquire a customer? And they're like, we don't know. We've never really paid for a customer. Like, how'd you get the ones you are now? He's like, well, we just kind of walk up and down campus that we're on right now. And Mark Cuban just kind of dropped his head. He's like, ugh. And the reason why is because it's untested, right? And then the other one is, cost to acquire a customer, and the other one is average cart value. He's like, so what's your average cart value? He's like, well, $12. It's the $12 a month that we're making right now per customer or something like that. And he's like, and one by one, each of the sharks are like, no, something just isn't right. No, something just isn't right. And they kind of went down the road, and they all kind of said the same thing. The last guy, I can't remember his name. He's the guy who's really into fashion. He goes, the only problem that I have with what you guys are doing is that I haven't heard you once talk about the joy of wearing a tie, why a tie is beautiful. You seem to have no passion about the product, right? And so why would I, I'm not going to be passionate about you doing this business and taking my money, if you're not passionate about your own thing. I thought that was really cool that he said, and everyone was like, yeah, that was it. I couldn't put my finger on it. That was it. But it got back to Mark Cuban again, and he's like, look, the only problem is that, he asked again, how much was your cost to acquire a customer? And they just started saying, oh, yeah, I think it's probably around $8 or something. And he goes, you're just making up numbers now. No, my answer is no. And here's why. And he just kind of laid into him. And I was like, I would never invest in those guys. Only 2 months old. I know you want to grow business and scale business, but unless you have data that you can point back to average cart value and cost to acquire a customer, there's nothing. It doesn't matter how much money you're getting per customer, unless you know how much it costs. Like McDonald's, for example. McDonald's spends $1.81 just to get you to their drive-through, right? That's their cost to acquire a customer, $1.80 in average per person over advertising and all the stuff they do. $1.81. And then their average cart value, I can't remember exactly what it is, but let's say it's the average person spends $5 or $6, right? So they're making, on average per visitor, an average of $3 or $4. That doesn't sound amazing, right? But because you have those metrics covered, you can scale the business. You now know, all right, when a customer comes up, on average, I will have spent $1 to get them there, $1.81 to get them there, and I will have brought in revenue of $5 or $6. You need to look at your sales funnels this way. That's the only reason I'm bringing this up. I have a funnel, secretemblemhacks.com. My average, my cost to acquire a customer with my ads, I just checked last night actually. It was actually close to McDonald's. I think it was like $1.60 or something like that. And my average cart value was actually like oh, I'm thinking through the metrics. Man, I should have pulled them up. Dang it. But I was making money. That's the point. Is that every single time someone comes through and they subscribe, my average dollar per lead profit is like, I don't know, $1.50. It's not very big. I want to make it bigger, obviously, and that's the fun part. Once you know those metrics, once a funnel is up, like everyone stresses about building the funnel and putting the funnel out there, which you should. That's good. You need to stress about that stuff. Put it, lots of strategy behind it. Be extremely thoughtful about it. But if you don't know those two metrics, like it's not done once you start sending traffic. Then you got to go track everything and go, okay, all right, my conversion between my second and third page is 15%, and then between my third and fourth page it drops to like 2%. What's wrong with this page? Something's wrong with it. That's a pretty steep drop. I had a quiz actually. There was a guy I was building for once. We had a 70% conversion rate on his very front end. It was a quiz that I built, and 70%. I mean, that is huge. I have never had that anywhere else. That's incredible. I have had like 70% email open rates before to a cold list, but that's cool. That's another story. But 70% conversion rates on the front. And for all you guys who don't ever do funnel stuff, I'm sorry if this is crazy technical. The whole point is that, okay, so after that 70% dropped, meaning at the very next page, it went to like 20% purchase on the very next product, and then went to like 5%. I mean, that's a huge decline, right? So then I can look at those pages and go, hey, something is wrong, right? For me, that's the fun part of a funnel after you build it, is you look and go, okay, like what should I do here? Like, what's the big, why isn't this working? And you can go through and maybe something's with the sales video. Let's look at the copy. Let's look at, is something distracting the customer? Is there something there that's not allowing a customer to think, or am I being there's not enough clarity. Maybe I'm being confusing, right? That's the fun part of building for me. And any time of you have a funnel within it, and this includes offline, right? I was over at it's my wife's birthday on Monday, and she really wants to go to a bounce house. I was like, all right, cool. I'm a little kid at heart forever, and so we went. I went over and I was like making the reservations, and the dude walks up and he's like, "Look, dude. Wait, how many people?" I was like, probably like 10. And he goes, "What are the ages?" I was like, well, anywhere from like, 2 to my age, 28. He's like, all right, look, here's the thing, man. You could do this so much cheaper. You don't need to pay us all this money. You could just come in. If the party room's open, just sit in there. I mean, he's completely like shooting himself in the face. And I was like, sweet, all right. You got the hookups. You just really hurt your average cart value. You know what I mean? You think about, so anyways, offline and online, these are true principles. So anyways, there's a lot of different stories, but the whole point is, unless you know those two metrics, those are the only two metrics that matter. All the other metrics that are out there, earnings per click, cost per sale, cost per registrant. Like, I'm just looking at different glossaries that are out there. Like, I mean, those are cool, and I look at a lot of them. I look at conversion rates. I look at, especially cost per sale, things like that, to make sure that the actual product has margin on it, that we're making money. But besides that, like, none of the others really don't really matter that much. You got to know exactly how much you're spending to get a customer, and how much you're spending, or how much each customer is spending once they get in the door. I told you guys that laser pen story. If not, go back and listen to it if you want. Of me almost getting kicked out of high school because I was selling too many random knickknacks to people in school. And right, my cost to acquire a customer was $2.50. That's what it cost for me to go actually get a customer. And then my average cart value though was like $12. I had like a $10 margin there. But anyways, that's like those are the two core metrics of business. So if your average cart value is higher than your cost to acquire, you are in business, you're making money, and you're scaling. And like in the McDonald's example, it does not need to be a huge amount of money. They only have, it can't be more than like $4 or $5. Most people don't spend more than like $6, maybe $7 for some kind of fast food meal or whatever. And look at the crazy global tyrant they are. So don't think that you gotta. It's fun to create the spread. You need to make the spread wider and wider, and that's fun for the game of it is to get that spread as tall as possible. But anyways, guys, I'm kind of rambling now. That's all I want to say. Those are the two metrics. Go out, look at your funnels, look at your sales processes, and keep that in mind if you're just starting to build a funnel. Those aren't exactly things you need to stress about when you're building the funnel. You do as far as like price points and things like that, but focus on building the funnel. But once the funnel's done, I just wanted you to know, like, don't think that you're done because you're not. So anyways, guys, I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Sales Funnel Radio. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Have a question you want answered on the show? Get your free t-shirt when your question gets answered on the live Hey Steve show. Visit salesfunnelbroker.com now to submit your question.